The night the palace stood still, for the first time, we reveal why Ebony was found screaming. And after the shock revelation that Ebony was caught on the mysterious Idare mountains, her supporters are fighting back with bravado and loud voices. The Ife elders from her own family lineage are rising in an uproar, throwing heavy accusations back at the man who exposed her. They are asking the ultimate question: who paid for this testimony? A short prayer for my crown gist friends and families. May every confusion sent to your household be cleared by the spirit of truth, and may those who try to manipulate your destiny for their own gain be exposed and put to shame. Amen. Get ready, crown gist friends and families, because the palace of Ife is currently shaking like an earthquake. If you want to stay in the loop with the most explosive royal secrets, you need to subscribe to Crown Gist right now. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single second of this fire. We respect the Yoruba culture deeply. Because of this, we use symbolic names for certain sacred rituals and groups. Stay with us, and the power behind these names will unfold as the story progresses. The atmosphere in the palace courtyard was no longer just tense. It had turned into a full-blown riot of voices. The Ife elders, specifically those related to Ebony's lineage, were standing up, their faces red with anger, pointing fingers at the spiritualist elder who had just exposed Ebony's secret trip to the mountain. "Who paid you?" They roared, their voices clashing like heavy drums. "Who is the person paying you to speak such ill against our daughter and the elders of this land? Tell us the price they paid you to lie." My crown gist friends and families, what we're seeing here is what people call using bravado to glide over insecurity. These elders were making a massive scene, shouting and causing a wahala just to distract everyone from the main point. The point was simple. What was Ebony doing on top of that mountain if she wasn't desperate? Instead of answering the question, they decided to attack the messenger. They wanted to use ooni to push the real issue away and hold on to a conspiracy that doesn't even exist. You see, these Ife elders from Ebony's side are different from the Abada elders who support the Kabiyesi. The family elders were the ones who dragged the matter out in the first place. But now that the politic they were trying to play has been exposed, they have nowhere to hide. Everybody could see through them. They knew what Ebony was up to, but they didn't expect a weakness like the mountain spiritualist to stand his ground and speak the truth. The question everyone is asking now is, what is the great lion, the Kabiyesi, going to do? Up until today, the Kabiyesi has remained firm, but it looks like the palace is trying to buy time. They are using style to slow things down because Yanifa is expected to arrive any time from now. The air is thick with anticipation. People are wondering, is Ebony actually going to go? Is it even possible to remove her? Even me, as I make this video for you, I am not sure. Ebony seems to be very well rooted in the palace. It's not just about where she comes from. It's about the heavy deep tea fair elders, the kingmakers, and the big titles who are standing behind her. They are insisting that no matter what happens, the Kabiyesi should not put her out. They keep asking, where are we going to send her to? She is our own. This has now become a massive tug of war between the youths of the land and the family elders. While the Abada elders and the youth are supporting the Kabiyesi's right to peace, Ebony's supporters are making a massive sauce. But let's be real, why is marriage becoming by force in the palace? If a man says he is sick and tired of the drama, why are they making it a matter of life and death? People are beginning to suspect the real reason. They say Ebony wasn't sent to the palace just for love or marriage. They say she was sent there by these elders to manipulate their entire system from the inside. And now that their agent is being exposed, they are panicking. They even tried to say it was the jewel who paid the witness to lie. They know the jewel is innocent, but they need someone to blame to cover their own shame. The noise in the courtyard reached a level where the palace guards had to step in just to keep the crowd back. The Ifa elders who support Ebony were not just talking anymore, they were screaming at the top of their lungs. They were trying to drown out the truth with pure noise. But you see, my crown gist friends and families, when a man stands on the truth, noise cannot move him. The elder who saw Ebony on the mountain did not blink, he just watched them with a look of pity. "You are asking who paid me?" the elder asked, his voice cutting through their shouting like a sharp knife through soft yarn. "The only thing that paid me is my conscience. The mountain does not take bribes and the spirits I serve do not lie for money. Instead of asking who paid me, why don't you ask your daughter what she was holding in her hand when she reached the peak of Idandre?" The family elders went quiet for a split second before starting their bravado again. They began to attack the Abada elders, accusing them of conspiring with the jewel to destroy Ebony's reputation. It was a classic case of distraction. They knew that if the people focused on the mountain story, Ebony would be finished, so they started bringing up old palace politics, trying to make it look like this was all a plan to weaken their family's power in the palace. But the youth of Ife were not having it. They stood behind the Abone builders, shouting that they want peace in the palace. They are tired of the daily wahala and the spiritual heavy lifting that has been happening ever since Ebony started her obsession. The youth are saying that if the Kabiyesi, the great lion, says he wants his palace cleaned, then it must be cleaned. "Why are you making this marriage a matter of life and death?" one of the younger chiefs shouted. "If the great lion is tired, he is tired. You cannot force a man to love a woman who is trying to cage his spirit." This is where the real secret lies. People are now talking openly about why Ebony was brought to the palace in the first place. The rumor on the palace streets is that it wasn't just a marriage based on love. These elders had a plan. They sent her there as a bridge to control the palace resources and have a direct ear to the Kabiyesi. Now that their bridge is about to collapse, they are fighting like wounded lions. They are using style to buy time, hoping that they can frustrate the Kabiyesi enough to make him change his mind before Yanifa arrives. They know that once Yanifa steps into that palace, the power dynamic will shift completely. The well-rooted tree of Ebony might finally find its roots pulled out of the soil. But Ebony's supporters among the kingmakers are still standing firm. They are using the high title to threaten the peace of the land, saying that Ebony is her own and she cannot be sent away like a common servant. It has become a battle of egos, a battle of ancient titles, and a battle of the very heart of the Kabiyesi.
The great lion, the Kabiyesi, finally raised his hand. In an instant, the shouting died down. The bravado of the family elders evaporated like morning mist under a hot sun. When the king speaks, even the walls of Ife listen. The Kabiyesi looked at the elders who had been making so much noise and asked them a very simple question that made everyone's blood run cold. "Are you shouting because you love Ebony?" the Kabiyesi asked, his voice low but powerful. "Or are you shouting because you are afraid of what will happen to your influence when she is no longer sitting by my side?" The Ife elders from Ebony's lineage couldn't answer. They started looking at their feet. The Kabiyesi made it clear that he was not being influenced by the jewel or any outside payment. He told them that as the king, he sees things they think are hidden. He reminded them that he is the one who lives with a wahala every day. He is the one who hears the screams at night and heals the spiritual weight that has been brought into his chambers. "You call her your own," the Kabiyesi continued, "but you did not tell her to behave like a queen. You did not tell her to respect the peace of this house. You only told her how to hold on to power." At this point, the tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. The Abada elders and the youths were nodding in agreement. They realized that the Kabiyesi was not just talking about their marriage, he was talking about the survival of the throne itself. The news began to spread to the crowd that the arrival of Janifa was no longer a maybe, it was a win. The palace officials were already being told to prepare the guest quarters. Ebony's family elders tried one last trick. They started claiming that if Ebony is sent away, it will bring a curse upon the land because she is well rooted in the traditions of the elders. But the youth shouted back, "The king is the honor of the tradition. If the king is not at peace, the land cannot be at peace." The bravado was completely gone now, replaced by a desperate kind of panic. The elders realized that their plan to use noise to cover up the mountain scandal had failed. The fact that Ebony had traveled all the way to those secret hills to seek power against the palace was a stain that no amount of shouting could wash away. The secret meeting lasted until the early hours of the morning. While the rest of the palace was sleeping, the heavy-duty kingmakers and the Ife elders were locked in a room trying to decide the final fate of Ebony. The atmosphere was heavy with the smell of burning oil and ancient wood. The family elders were pleading, no longer shouting. They realized that the Kabiyesi was truly done. They tried to bargain, asking for more time, hoping that they could cleanse Ebony and make her stay. But the Abada elders stood their ground. They told the family that the obsession had gone too far. That drinking one's own blood spiritually, as the mountain witness said, is a sign of a soul that cannot be easily fixed. The jewel has maintained her peace, one elder noted during the meeting, but Ebony has turned the palace into a battlefield. For the sake of the great lion's health and the future of the kingdom, there must be a change. As the sun began to rise over the palace, the word started to leak out. It looked like the marriage by force is finally coming to an end. Whether Ebony stays as a figurehead or leaves completely is still being debated, but her power has been stripped. The roots they said were so deep have been shaken by the truth of the mountain. Yanifa's arrival is now the only thing people are talking about in the markets and the streets of Ife. The era of Ebony's total control has officially hit a rock. Crown Gist friends and families, we have reached the end of this explosive update. The palace drama is at an all-time high, and you can be sure that we will be here to give you the play-by-play. But before you go, please remember, all the information shared in this video is based on reports, rumors, and alleged details making the rounds on social media. None of these claims have been verified as absolute fact by the palace or any official source. This is unverified gist for your entertainment and information only. Do not take it as the final word. The open eye and bravado did not work this time. Do you think Ebony's family will finally give up, or do they have one more trick under their wrappers?